So not great for SKT this time around. There is a Rumble ban. So what is Trace actually going to play here? Again, the Maokai is dangerous against... He's both dangerous for Marin and against Marin.
Yeah, and a Nidalee ban from SK Telecom, understandable. Take away that pocket pick, and an Evelyn ban.
Interestingly, Rise fell all the way through picks and bans in that last game. And there's the Azir banned out once again by Jinair, Rumble, Evelyn, and Azir. So there is Gragas going to be left up this time? Is Victor going to be left up this time? No.
So Victor's down.
I think that's very smart. So they're going to first pick the Gragas. They have to against Bengi these days. He was pretty strong on it in the last match, and it's just a very nice power pick overall. I don't think Bengi's really going to mind, though. He can play that Echo if he needs to.
You can also play that Rek'Sai.
Yeah, lots of choices. Actually hasn't played Rek'Sai in a while.
Well, Corki looks to be one of the first pickups for SK Telecom.
And I agree with this here because we know Pilot is a very good Corki player.
Yeah.
And he does shine on some of these caster AD carries, so it will be the Corki and the Rek'Sai as the follow-up picks. Maokai could be taken away, but you are running a risk of getting
fizzed. Well, they're thinking about it, and a reminder to you guys at home, vote at ogn.ozubu.tv and vote for your favorite Super Play of the Week. Goes towards giving money to the players.
That's right. They win money, Barry. They have to earn it, damn it. They're not giving it.
Okay. They earn it, and then they're giving it. Well, Alistar looks to be a takeaway, and Cassiopeia for ganked by Mom. Well, they're talking it over right now.
You have to wonder if Cassie's still going to be vulnerable to TF Rek'Sai ganks. Do have a little bit more movement speed if you're landing your abilities, but it's going to be a lock-in. Now, last time GBM played this Cassiopeia, he went for a very low damage build, Leandri's Rylai's, and was mostly focused on kiting out against CJ, but it was really a damage problem in the late game. They just didn't have sufficient amount of burst damage to take somebody out quickly.
So let's see. We'll see if GBM decides to opt in that same build, and looks like it could either be a Twist of Fate or an Orianna pick for EasyHoon.
Yeah, remember, this is a matchup that EasyHoon is very comfortable with. At MSI versus EDG in the finals, he won in both sides of the Ori-Cassiopeia matchup, so he's very good at playing either Ori or Cassie right now, but they're just, I think they're going to leave it. Because if we think about it, they still have that kill pressure with the Maokai if they want to go for the Twisted Fate. That's a very easy lane to gank.
Okay.
I'm just going to wait for the 80. Okay, I guess. Seems like you should just pick your support right there, but they are slightly concerned about what Jinair is up to, not knowing if they need to go more for the engage or the disengage. Now, what is Trace going to play? He's overwhelmingly been playing Maokai and Rumble. He's actually only played 4 different champions this season.
Cassio top, maybe?
I mean, the Nautilus is still up. That's a Trace special. The Gnar is still up. That's another champion that he plays.
Well, we'll see what he decides to go with in the end. Beginning to think Nautilus may be a viable pick here. It is a bit of a... Oh, Hecarim.
I was really not a fan of his Hecarim the last time he played it. He missed a lot of ultimates, and he's just a farmer. He gets hung out to dry a lot by Jinair, and so he doesn't have that pressure needed to reliably farm into those big items, which means that his power spikes on Hecarim are later than most of his other players in the top lane. So that is Sivir and Hecarim locked in all the same. But now, that also is going to preempt, or that's also going to maybe force SKT into a more disengaged support role. Going all in here might be risky. I think the John is way better for SKT.
Yep. Well, whatever Hecarim may be lacking a bit at times will be made up for a little bit, at least with the Sivir ult and team fights. A little bit. A little bit. It's true. I think you have to take Janna here because you need to protect the Orianna versus the Hecarim, because if the Ori gets targeted early by that
Hecarim in a team fight, if he does come in with the home guards, you are not going to have a lot of peel for her, and she has the chance of getting one-shotted. So yes, the Janna, I think the better of the picks available to SKT. SKT puts together probably one of the most standard team compositions you've ever seen. Good engage, good peel,
zone
solid
mage.
poke, zone mage,
Yep.
early game jungler, good secondary engage with Rek'Sai, very well-rounded, very standard. Jin Air actually opting for mostly the same thing. They have the engage with the Hecarim and the Alistar.
A little more all in.
A little more all in for sure. They don't have the same amount of poke. That's really the difference. But they do have a higher DPS if they get in range. Definitely Cassiopeia and Civ are going to be outputting more damage over time.
Well, what I want to see this game is Chaser making more early game plays, because on Lee Sin, he tried to make the plays, but it was after the 8-9 minute mark, and he should have been doing it pre-6 as well.
To be fair, he did try for that level 2 gank in the mid lane. It just didn't work out because the wave pressure wasn't going in Jin Air's favor, so they couldn't make it work, and that actually ended up costing the first blood for GBM in the end.
Yep. Well, we're going to go into our game fairly soon. We'll see if Jin Air has a plan to maybe not lose as hard as they did in game 1.
Well, at least they have a standard composition this time, Barry. They've got damage threats out of the top lane, so Cassiopeia can build a little more utility as GBM likes to build her. And we're going to see if it works out for them. Can Jin Air come back versus SK Telecom, or does SK Telecom win best of 3, number 19? Jin Air fans out in force today, Barry.
Along with the T1 fans. So, yeah, we got a standard fan coming out from SK Telecom. Meanwhile, Jin Air stacks as 5 in the bottom lane.
They have a lot of threat early game with this Alistar. Actually, Pilot's just going to show right there. He's masking the fact that the rest of his teammates are also there. And they're going to wander into a brush, but that's going to be sussed out immediately with the help of that ward from Bang, and he knows everyone just gonna take a nice saunter through their bottom side jungle, get some wards down. We'll see what they do with it.
Alright, well, deep wards coming in for Jin Air Greenwinds just to hopefully see, oh, can he get this? Nope. Yeah, hopefully see which way the lanes will be going for SK Telecom.
So that ring of wards coming through. Will Jin Air actually go for this blue buff to start out the game? Or are they just going to go for the safer bet on their red? And it looks like the lane swap is going to come in from SKT. They don't want to be in lane against the Alistar Sivir. Has a strong early laning phase before Corki hits that level 6 and starts to pick up a Sheen where he can actually easily trade with that Sivir.
All right. So in the lane swap situation, which team do you favor here, at least composition-wise?
Well, I think it's actually perfect for SKT because they're going to slow down Trace potentially. And that Maokai only really needs a Righteous Glory to be effective, whereas Trace is going to be not too useful until he gets 2 or 3 core items.
Well, the jungle follow begins.
Bard going to hit level 2 and take the blue buff. In this lane swap, it will help him break the freeze. Trace, not quite level 2 yet. Just going to head over into the enemy jungle. Now, they could make a play early, but Che at level 1, it does make it harder.
Well, Ezium playing towards the top side of his lane, wisely enough.
There's a TP. Perhaps slightly preemptive from Baron, but Wolf is going to be there by the time the blue is finished up, so be a 4v2 dive if Jin Air decided to go for it, which they will not. Not going to play this aggressively whatsoever. And Wolf going to pop into that tri-break. That is, okay, Wolf, that is a little bit dangerous.
Sitting in that tri-bush. And he's going to see, oh, nope.
Nice try.
That would have been pretty cool if he stole that. Well, Marin with the blue buff is going to just spam those saplings and his arcane smash and just keep pushing it in. And Benki going to go for the red buff here. All right.
Yeah, Wolf has to be careful about making plays like that. Chaser's still only level 2 because of the follow, even though he has gotten those 2 buffs as well as the Raptor camp. But Wolf has to be careful because against a team that wants to dive you, there is a possibility that there are like 3 people in that brush right there. And he didn't ward it first. He just face-checked it straight up.
Well, we just see some statistics for Bengi and Chaser. Bengi is 8-1 on Rek'Sai, and Chaser is 3-1 on Gragas. So good champions for both of these players, but we'll see who will walk away with the win or loss today. And meanwhile, GBM may be aggressed on soon, but Wolf only level 1.
Yeah, you're not really going to be able to get a kill here with a level 1 Janna. At the very least, GBM is going to be much safer in the laning phase compared to the kill that Wolf was able to pick up early in the last one with that Alistar.
Yep, indeed. And Marin picking up a lot of farm, in fact. Oh dear. Poor Trace.
Poor Trace, and he's in lane, in a lane swap against Corki. He's one of the most high damage champions against a melee top laner. He's able to just be so effective, and he scales so nicely with levels too, because he has that just damage from his Phosphorus Bomb early. It takes a big boost. But Trace finally able to start pruning this wave a little bit. He's going to get a lot of CS as it comes back, but not as much as Marin. And Chase still level 1. And take a few hits right there. Pilot doing what he can, but he only has that Doran's shield, or Doran's blade rather, so Marin going to be able to do some nice arcane smash damage, and now Trace going to pick up what he can underneath the turret.
He'll pick up, I think, most of them here.
Yep, should be all right. We're going to take this opportunity now that the wave is pushed back just to recall, buy himself another Doran's Ring, and here comes the swap. So they're going to change their lane assignments right now. Of course, right as Corki's about to hit that level 6, and he has that easier time in lane up against the Sivir. So good timing here from SKT.
Well, Jin Green Wings, what do they want to do with this composition of theirs? Because team fighting, I feel like it's in favor of SK Telecom, especially with the Orianna ultimate and the really, really fast Maokai that's going to be happening with the Righteous Glory and Home Guard enchant from the teleport flank. So
I'm not entirely sure. I think we've got a pretty even matchup here. It just depends on who gets the flank first, because it's incredibly important that Trace deal damage to Easyhoon at the start of a fight, or force Easyhoon to use his abilities on himself. If Jin Air can close the gap, they definitely will be having a big advantage in the late game. Their damage output is really crazy if they get in range with Sivir and with Cassiopeia.
Well, we'll also see if GBM opts for a higher damage build than he went for last time. Currently, the mid lane fairly even with a slight CS lead towards GBM.
Yeah, Bengi actually just going to start doing the Dragon right now. He got the deep wards in. Chaser's not there. This is a great call from SKT. They came back to lane earlier, so they were able to get control over the wave, and Orianna pushing up.
Can you actually solo this, though?
No, he can't solo it, but now that Bang and Wolf have pushed up, they're just going to go walk up and do it.
All right, here comes Easyhoon to possibly
Chaser's
help
not there.
out.
There's no chance.
Well, good Dragon take by SK Telecom T1 at 7 minutes.
Very, very easy. They sneak that one through. Chaser not respecting that ability for them to get the Dragon early, instead wanting to hand off this blue buff. But look at the vision and the sapling there. He's keeping eyes on Chaser this entire time. Trace just not having an easy time of it in the top lane either. Falling behind by about 20 CS.
He's also starting with that Null Magic Mantle, so which means that his Triforce is going to be delayed.
I don't know about this. If you're going to play that, I mean, if you want to do that, I think you just play the Gnar instead. Go for the Hex Drinker early and start harassing the Maokai. But Trace playing a matchup that he just hasn't had a whole lot of success in this season.
Well, he has the Ignite, so he technically does have more kill pressure than Marin does, and Chaser making his way to the top lane. He's level 6 versus level 7, and Chaser decides against going to the top lane.
Well, it's hard for him to get that kill pressure there, right? There's not any CC coming in from Hecarim. Hecarim doesn't have any extra damage right now, and Marin got the extra Doran's item. So he's got a lot of HP with 2 rings and a Ruby Crystal for this point in the game. It's very unlikely that even with the Ignite they'd be able to pull something. Yep, there's the damage. Bang up in levels, and that's what you get from having that solo lane Corki, is the ability to really push around your opponent. Pilot also couldn't afford a BF sword when he went back, so he had to get the pickaxe instead.
And another Dorn's Blade as well, looks like.
Yeah.
Well, how can Jeanette Green Wings bring themselves up from this kind of deficit that they're starting to find themselves in?
They have to just farm this one out. They're very item dependent, and SKT will have the early game advantage. When we talk about it, when Maokai finishes the Righteous Glory and Bang finishes the Trinity Force, they're going to have a ton of pressure on this game. And Jin Air is just going to have to wait for big items to come in. They need that tier to stack on GPM. They need the Cassiopeia stacks to get rolling. And that they've just got to wait. So hold on as long as possible. But SKT is not going to make it easy. They got an extremely early first dragon.
Yep, 7 minutes in.
They're going to be in a power spike on the second dragon, which means Jin Air is going to have a very difficult time fighting it. And then you're already down 2 dragons to none. And maybe after that point, SKT just takes over and starts threatening dragon number 5. I mean, dragon number 5 is going to come up so fast in this game at like...
Yeah, 6 times, probably 5, so I would say 37 minutes in.
Yeah, it's about 35 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Bengi gonna steal. Oh no, not steal. He's just gonna take that red buff. It says, but what can Jin Air Green Wings do? I just keep going back to this over and over again, but it looks difficult for them to hold on right now.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Because they're going to have to fight one of these dragons sooner or later. Like, yes, give up the second one when Corki's in that power spike. Wait till Hecarim gets his Trinity Force, but
I mean,
how much are they going to give up in the meantime?
Trace has a Captain Enchant on his boot.
Is that a misbuy?
I don't know. I don't know why he would have a Captain Enchant. I have to assume that's a mistake.
Huh. Maybe he's making it easier for Chaser to come in for a gank. That just doesn't seem like the right...
That's crazy. That's like such an investment for that to happen. Even if he gets the kill, it's not worth it. It doesn't pay for that enchant.
Yeah, and looks like he could get dove here if he's not careful as well. Rek'Sai around the side sees him and just kind of sits there.
Yep, just gonna zone him off. They want to take this tower. Keep him from getting that farm. They just denied an entire wave of CS. Trace is falling further and further behind.
Oh dear. And
I have no idea why he would have this boot enchant.
Odd. It is 100% Captain. You're totally correct, but... Oh, here we go.
Bengi actually going to get caught out in the jungle. GBM's there. Can they get the first blood? Bengi is over.
Oh.
Trace may turn this one around. Bengi got a little bit greedy.
They're trying to give this one to Trace.
Yeah, he really needs this kill. There's the Ignite ticking down, and he's just going to get it.
First blood
to Trace. That is absolutely enormous for Jin Air.
Indeed.
Had to teleport in for that. The only thing I can think of, Barry, is that Trace is not going to be flanking. He's just going to be ulting from the front. And with the Sivir ults at the Captain Enchant, the rest of his team is going to be able to catch up very quickly into the back line of SKT.
I mean, it seems like a good idea, but against Orianna, though? If you come in from the front.
That is the only idea I have about this enchant.
Yeah. I mean, if you get that on top of maybe the Elixir of Iron, then you have your really, really fast team coming in. But the problem is, Easy, and all he needs to do is just put out the ball, and then as soon as maybe 3 people pass by his ball,
he just changed it out. It was a misbuy.
Yeah, misbuy.
Wow, he had to sell it.
He had to sell the whole boot.
Yeah.
That's...
That basically just eliminates the kill that he had right there. In terms of money lost, it's going to be close.
Well, unfortunate.
So he just, it was just a misplay on that enchant. That is really rough. Because he needed that extra money.
Yeah. Well, he bought his boots essentially twice.
Oh, I feel so bad for Trace right now. That's not a mistake that we see very often at the professional level.
No.
And it does, I mean, the Captain Enchant does look a lot like the Home Guard Enchant in terms of the icon, so it's an understandable mistake to make.
Well, second dragon is live right now. And SK Telecom looks like they're making tracks towards it. making sure they have vision. And will they start it though? Probably not. Right now. Yeah, the 40 CS difference though.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge. Marin has been such a bully in this lane, and we see Maokai do well against Hecarim early on. Has that ability to trade very efficiently with Hecarim. Of course, Trace getting closer to that Phage right now, still going to be about equal, but the Rampage is really what turns that matchup because you just get so much free health from Hecarim trying to Rampage on you.
Yeah, and all right.
There's the shockwave. It's not going to be enough though. Wolf gets caught out a little bit in the front, has the shields on him from Orianna and from the Eye of the Storm. Chase still looking for a kill here. They don't have a speed boost from the Shrine, so the second dragon goes over to SK Telecom. In addition to that first one, they disengage very cleanly thanks to the Monsoon. Chaser not able to get in range to pull off his smite.
Yeah, and meanwhile, during that dragon take, the top laners were really going at each other, trading very heavily, and they still are right now.
Yeah, it's just over time. You can't win this fight yet if you're the Hecarim. You have so many problems. Now, Trace still has his ult up. He could surprise Marin maybe here.
Oh, Bangi's coming in, though.
Yeah, Bangi's just going to walk right in the Tri-Brush. They want to deny another minion wave. Chaser's here.
This is so rough for this Hecarim.
But, I mean, you have to respect how SKT is playing this out. They are playing it out incredibly well to punish the Hecarim pick, keep him from getting those items, because they know that they're going to have an edge if they do that.
Well, Bang takes a lot of damage, but in the end is able to still just farm up nicely. Oh.
This is pretty dire. So Bang, now they're going to get the turret.
And it's going to bounce back.
Yep, the freeze is going to be there, more than likely. Marin's going to take a couple more minions before that happens. Actually, he's going to push it all the way up, interestingly. So that actually might freeze pretty poorly for Marin if he's not careful. GBM grabs his blue buff. That's actually going to give Hecarim some farm. It's going to, the wave is going to hit really nicely.
Yeah.
For Jinair. Not sure he should have taken that. Maybe he needed the money for the glory. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, SK Telecom currently up 2K gold.
And Marin has been unleashed on the map right now. This is absolutely terrifying. And because Hecarim is just going to be sitting there, not applying pressure. And, well, actually, Hecarim's going to be forced to overextend. Yeah. Jinair doesn't have good choices right now. If Marin sits back, then this Corki and Orianna are going to take more towers. Corki's going to go back. He just picked up his Trinity Force. It is a perfect timing for that. So if Hecarim is not applying pressure, then SKT is going to be a man up in mid and bottom lanes, and Jinair is going to lose more turrets. But if Hecarim does push up, well, he's overextended, and they can just kill him.
Yep. And so, can Jinair fight the third dragon that's going to come up? That's the real question here. Because if Trace can manage to somehow cobble together his Trinity Force, that might be a viable option for them to fight that third dragon. But meanwhile, every lane seems, well, maybe with the exception of mid lane, but the bottom and top lane just going SKT's way right now.
Oh no, mid lane is as well. Easy Hoon is up in CS by about 30. Jinair just getting comprehensively destroyed across the map in both of the games today.
And Faker's not even playing.
Faker's not even playing. But Easy Hoon is certainly great on a lot of these control mages. And I mean, frankly, so much of both of these games has been Marin.
Yeah, Marin, such dominating play.
All right, who's going to stop this guy? We talked about Marin's GPM, his ability. This is the Marin that we were supposed to see when he came into the professional scene.
Early Season 4.
Being a carry top laner, just having the pressure and the ability to outplay 1v1 his opponents. And we see him past that flame horizon nearly every game now.
Yep.
He gets so many resources from SKT. They want him to be a carry. And Bang has to survive on a little less gold, a little less farm, but it's been repaid. I mean, Marin did great on Maokai in the last game too.
Yeah, and it's such a winning formula for this team, and they just, no one's been able to really figure them out and maybe really drive the screws in towards them.
Well, you have to be able to outplay them first. And outplaying Marin and Faker is no easy task, even for Region. And there's a TP. Jinair wants to play this, but they mess up the cask. Chaser drops it after the flash from Wolf, so Wolf just gets pushed away, and there's a TP burn. Trace now, TP down. Marin has TP advantage. Oh boy, and he's going to have it for the Dragon.
Well, Righteous Glory completed. Hecarim still trying to get a sheet.
Wow, Bang is 1v2ing right now. Wolf comes back in. There you go. He's going to flash it. Bengi is there, coming in with the flash and the knockup. And look at that play from Wolf. He just predicted the flash from Sivir, put the tornado where the flash would put Pilot, because otherwise there was no escaping from the wreck side. Very nice skirmishing from SK Telecom.
Wolf playing phenomenally today.
Yeah, he has been absolutely on point. Now Marin is free to just beat on Trace in the top side.
Jeez. And even now that he has that Ninja Tabby as well, there's just no way Hecarim can trade with him. He doesn't have a Sheen.
Nope.
No Triforce, nowhere near the same level of items that Marin has. And 70 CS.
Another turret falls. Barry. The mid lane's going to go down soon.
Oh dear.
There's not really a whole lot that Jin Air can do. With this much dominance across the map, every player is behind. Marin is 70 CS up in under 20 minutes. And a lot of this, credit to Bengi too, because if Bengi hadn't put such an incredible pressure on the top side, this would not have happened. He has played very well in conjunction with Marin to make this happen.
Yeah.
And this is, we talk about Bengi, we say, oh, he's just there to help Faker get wards. He's the guy who's heavily warding both sides of the mid lane. But Bengi's shown that he can get Marin ahead too in a big, big way. Bengi is a specialist on helping his team's carries and understanding where and how to choke out an enemy player.
Yeah, the problem in the previous season was that he would just get caught while trying to set those plays up. And this season, with the amount of pressure that all of his all of his lanes are putting out, he's just so safe in doing this.
You also forget that Rek'Sai was invented where he doesn't actually have to think about where he's going because he can see everything with Tremor Sense. That's very important.
That is true. And well, Jin Air Green Wings see. Oh,
nice play on EasyHoot. He gets killed as he is attacked by the Petrifying Gaze. Trace comes in from the side.
So is SKT going to give this up? Looks like they are, and they will take the top tier 2 in response, possibly.
If we can see Trace get back in time, he's already started his recall. Does have those home guard. Nice stall there by SKT. EasyHoot not really respecting his enemy, and he just gets straight up caught out. Now they're coming back in. Here comes the TP. Marin has TP advantage. Hello, says Marin right onto GPM, and here comes Corki with the Trinity Force. Rockets away. Goodbye, Chaser. Trace is back in the mix, but is it going to be enough? Maokai, solo. Maokai eventually falls to GBM, so a 1-for-1 trade as we're still waiting for EasyHoot to get back into this game. But can they hold the turret afterwards? Pilot's there. Pilot has some mana.
Marin did so much work in that fight, but he ended up just being a little bit too greedy and moving too far in while his team was in a 4v5 situation.
Also no MR yet against GBM, who already has kind of maxed out his flat magic penetration, so he's hurting quite a bit if you have 0 MR in your team besides an Aegis.
Well,
but guess what? EasyHoot's here, and they may just take a tower.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Well, Trace trying his best to push up the top lane. Well, Jin Air still managing to somehow hang in there, but they're still down about 4K gold.
Yeah.
They delayed the 5th dragon though.
They did. That is true, and that is very important because SKT doesn't have the strongest late game composition.
I guess once the gold, the gold totals for both teams reaches 60, 70K plus, it won't matter that they fell behind so early, but they just need to minimize their losses where they can. They need to try to not give up an inhibitor turret by that 37-minute mark.
Yeah, and that's going to be hard to do because there's going to be, as soon as the Blade is done, which it is right now in a Bang, now the threat of a Baron becomes very real for SKT, especially if they can get the mid lane turret down. They can get Corki in there to just get the Sheen procs off. Marin trying to go in here, putting down some saplings. He wants to know exactly where Jin Air is. So they start to fall back towards that Baron. But they're not really in a position to do it quite yet.
Well, Marin looking to stack some armor, has the Glacial Shroud. looking towards the 1v1 with Hecarim.
Well, yeah, the Frozen Heart, very efficient against Sivir and Hecarim. Might as well pick up that item first.
So it's gonna fall to GBM to really lay down the hurt onto Marin in these team fights, but can he?
Oops.
But will he be able to? Is the real question.
Yeah, body slam gets stuffed there by nicely timed tornado by Wolf, and here comes Bang. Gets a couple free shots onto the tower. He's going to be fine just healing that back up with his newly completed Blade of the Ruined King.
Yep.
So just some free damage, really.
And Sivir trying to go into the Avarice Blade to match the wave clear and hopefully stall this game out as long as possible. And yeah, Hecarim in the bottom lane and maybe getting sandwiched soon. Nope. Bengi's going to ult towards the top side.
Yep, just making sure that Corki isn't going to be dove, considering how many people Jin Air has in the top river right now. And with those deep wards, they know where Jin Air is. So that was just a cautionary Rek'Sai ultimate to make sure they had enough people to stop any dives. Now Marin knows he's perfectly safe. They have such good vision right now that Marin knows how far he can push this. Trey's going to try and come around and cut off the wave. He doesn't want this to get any closer to his turret than it already is. That's some smart Hecarim play.
Yep. The problem is that if Marin decides that, you know, cutting the wave isn't that good enough, he's just going to go for the heavy trade onto Hecarim. He's just going to win that, hands down. He just has so much resist, and now he has a Spectre's Cowl on top of it, so the damage he takes. Well,
Yep, there it goes.
4.8k.
And
for
now,
SK Telecom.
SKT just falling back to the Baron. They're playing out this scenario so beautifully. They need to take out that pink ward, though. Bit sloppy. But yes, constantly threatening the Baron right now is what they have to do, because that's the way they force fights to increase their gold lead into Snowball.
Yep, indeed. And
Just
Dragon
gonna do
coming
it.
up.
They're doing it.
Oh, wow. I think they're going to have to back off real soon.
But they just want to fight. That's all they want to do. They're happy with this situation. There's the Blade of the Ruined King active. Bengi gonna flash knock up.
Oh,
and
dear.
there's the shockwave for the kill. Bang grabs one. And here we go. Marin coming in. Has that righteous glory. Jay's gonna fall next. And SK Telecom, this is how you snowball a game. Absolutely beautiful. They play it into their power spike. They get the mid lane turret. They already have the vision control. Then they turn onto the Baron and try to get it in 25 minutes. You could not ask for a more precise timing of this power spike than what SKT is showing us.
Well played indeed. And that is a 26-minute Baron for SK Telecom.
I mean, Bengi doesn't even have Smite right there, but they still managed to finish it off. And there you go, another early Baron. And they have just completely neutralized Jin Air's threats. They slowed down Trace so much that that Baron was super safe for them to do.
And let's take a look at this again. So Wolf with the big Frost Queen's Claim into Tornado, and Bengi with the flash knockup into the into that shockwave. There's just nothing Jin Air can do.
Yep, so much engaged, and he tries to get rid of Marin at the end of that, but Marin just comes right back on top of him with the crowd control.
So now the split pushing begins, because who can duel Maokai right now? They're going to have to send 3 people to deal with him.
That's not really something you normally say, but in this scenario where Maokai has Frozen Heart and is now TPing, he's going to try and get more kills. They want something. Frostweed's claim on a Chaser. Jay on the side. There he's on. He's already on the GBM. GBM gets low. GBM already used his cleanse. And Marin just going to flash out from behind, but Pilot caught out. Twisted advanced on, and Bengi grabs the kill. Trace tries to get in. Trace under the turret, though. Bang needs to stop taking those tower hits.
Well, that's probably going to be a Dragon for SK Telecom along with the tier 2 mid turret.
You don't need to go for Dragon right now, Barry. You don't have a Sivir to clear the waves. You could just take turrets.
Oh boy.
With your Barret-empowered minions.
And meanwhile, Marin in the bottom side with a huge Baroned up wave. Oh boy.
Easy. Just gets knocked around. There's a... Oh, goodbye, GBM. Oh, he actually lives thanks to the Seraph. Nope.
Oh, Wolf.
Tornado kill. Well, this is one of the best examples of how to snowball a game of League of Legends I have ever seen, Barry.
Almost reminds me of... It seems like we're watching Season 3 almost.
This is mind-blowing. Honestly, Jin Air is not a bad team.
Yeah, no, they are by no means a terrible team. But
if you just think about how well SKT identified player for player, and in terms of the composition, where they need to do work, where they need to apply pressure, how they can slow Jin Air down, what their power spikes are, and what the limits of their team compositions are compared to their opponents. It has been stellar.
Extremely well played by SK Telecom. They came into this with a clear plan of what they wanted to do, and that is the third dragon for them.
I am just blown away by SKT this game, and you know, they have a 10K gold lead. It looks very unlikely that Jin Air is going to be able to make a rebound and come back into this one with the continual pressure that is coming down right now. Another tier 2 will go to Bang. Nothing's going to stop him up here in top.
Holy moly.
Holy moly indeed. And SKT has been able to assemble in under 30 minutes a more than 10K gold lead while only having 6 kills. Talk about playing the map well.
Yes, they are so good at that. I mean, we saw that game versus Spenu. They were down so many kills, like 7-1, and still up 2K gold.
Yep. Well, that's why you play for objectives. You need more proof. It's right there, staring you in the face. SK Telecom's beating you over the head with it right now. It's just the synergy that this team has together. They've really figured out what works. And even when they have Easyhoon in, Easyhoon putting in a perfectly fine performance this game. Synergizing well with the rest of his team. But, you know, one of the reasons why they can sub out Easyhoon and Faker is that Marin is the shot caller.
Yeah.
So as long as you have Marin up there, your shot calling is going to be fine.
Ooh. Good flash from Bang, and he's going to just constantly pour out damage on Trace. Trace taking a lot of damage and almost dies.
All he has is that Trinity Force. He doesn't have the tools to deal with the kind of punch that SKT has right now. Yeah, sure, the Baron's fallen off, but you're still in a 4-1 split, and there's still nothing Jin Air can do to prevent you from closing.
And now the siege begins.
I mean, Trace doesn't have his TP. There is very few ways that you can engage on it. Ching has to go all in. There he goes.
Marn coming in from the flank.
Nice, actually, nice pull.
Oh,
very
boy.
good. They destroy Easyhoon at the backside. Marn's already there, though, and there's so much damage coming out of Bang. Even still, GBM going to eat some more rockets in the end, and the dive continues. Exhaust onto GBM. Bang is there. Bang just going to turn around for the double, and Wolf tanks enough turrets.
They're going into the fountain.
Jeez, so Boomerang Blade nearly kills Wolf. The Wolf is there with the medic Monsoon just to get the heal up, and they're waiting for the next wave. Now they've got it, and they're going to get an inhibitor turret and another inhibitor before Trace and GBM can respawn. They have to be a bit careful. Trace has TP again.
Yep. Such punishing play from SK Telecom. They know like even with Easyhoon getting cut off, I mean, and Che having a great engage.
Yes, Easyhoon died instantly before he could even use his ultimate, but SKT is just so far ahead it doesn't matter.
Yep.
And that's also knowing your limits. Knowing that you can fight that 4v5, that you can go in, and you're not concerned about turning that fight around. Of course, Bang is just incredibly fed right now.
Yep. What do you think that Jin Air Green Wings could have done differently this game? With the same compositions, as you said, look fairly even going into the beginning of this game. What could they have done?
Well, I mean, it's so hard to kind of pinpoint. Oh.
Whoa.
Oh, I guess Bengi's just going to die. We're going to look at the replay here. Bengi's currently dead. But just taking a look at this, Che does absolutely the right thing. He gets a pull onto both carries, exhausts Easyhoon. It's a great engage for Jin Air, but they're just so far behind that the damage from Bang alone is just massacring them. And Marin is unkillable. So they're able just to dive on, continue straight through. Bengi with another flash on Burrow to get the knock up onto GBM, and now there's that exhaust too. They try to get Che.
They're going for that fountain kill.
Yeah, can't quite get there before Che gets to the edge of the regen range. Bengi randomly died in the mid lane, by the way.
Well, Bengi's still dead. And SK Telecom looking for the Baron buff that will be coming up in about 20 seconds. And they can do it very quickly. Rek'Sai already there. Yeah, going back to what we were talking about, what could have Jin Air done differently in the early game?
I mean, I think they just had to play more around Trace, but that's not something that Jin Air is used to doing. You know, I think Chaser and Trace had to work better together to make sure that he wasn't constantly denied in that top side and pushed around by Bengi and Marin, and it just didn't happen.
Well, Looks like this Baron is going to go down very quickly, and Wolf has the zone. Yep, and it goes down.
No one getting through the Great Wall of Wolf.
And Marin.
The Great Wall of Marin. Well, that's definitely true. Marin is just a brick wall right now.
Yeah.
Spirit Visage and Frozen Heart.
Oh man, what's he gonna build that last?
And Iron Elixir. He should get Captain's Boots right now and just lead the charge into battle.
Show Trace how to really build the Captain's Boots right there.
But there were just so many factors this game. We also consider that really early Dragon, which was such a great call from SKT.
Oh, Chaser caught a little bit. And the ultimate used. Bengi is knocked back, but just not enough damage.
Holy cow. Well, this game doesn't have that many kills, and Jin Air tried to hold on, but the siege just proved undefensible for Jin Air Green Wings, and here comes the collapse. More Baron-empowered minions on their turret right now. No one's going to be able to actually kill Marin.
Well, I mean, this seems like this game's going to end with not a bang, but a fizzle, but Malachi goes in.
Nope, they're just going to dive in. They want those kills. Marin actually has to flash out. Great pull.
Oh,
and
Trace
another.
gets the back line.
Yeah, there's GBM hits the Petrifying Gaze, but the Monsoon going to cancel that out, and there is a devastating shockwave to finish things off. 3 members dead, only Trace and Che alive, and that's going to be the end of the game. GG. SK Telecom goes on to win their 19th best of 3 in a row. They improved to 12-0 in best of 3s on a season, and they have now officially tied their 15-game win streak, which they set, a record they set in Champions Winter at the beginning of 2014, where they had a flawless season. I mean, what do you say about this SKT team right now? This is an absolutely incredible run that they are on.
You know what I would say about them? Ridiculously alpha.
They are incredibly alpha right now.
Yeah.
And a tough loss for Jin Air, but man, that second game was a thing of beauty in terms of snowballing.
They just got manhandled.
It's hard to imagine